Have you ever wondered what it would be like if your entire life had a digital twin?
Oh, that sounds like a Black Mirror episode waiting to happen,
Right.
honestly.
But hold on, I don't mean a backup of your hard drive or a really well-organized Notion template.
Sure.
I'm talking about a version of you that actually lives in the cloud. It thinks like you, decides like you, and most importantly, it acts like you 24/7.
Yeah, and looking at the material for today, specifically regarding this thing called OpenClaw, we aren't talking about sci-fi anymore.
No, we're not.
We are talking about something that is actively being tested right now.
Exactly. And that's why we're doing this deep dive today.
Mm.
We are looking at OpenClaw. And I want to be clear right off the bat and to everyone listening, because I had to read the documentation twice to really let this sink in.
It's dense material.
It is. But the main takeaway is that this is not a productivity tool. It is not a to-do list app that pings you when you forget to buy milk.
No, and that distinction is really the whole ballgame here. We are talking about a digital double, an agent.
Right.
See, most technology we use today is passive, right? It waits for you. You open Word, you type, you open a browser, you search.
You're the one driving.
Exactly. But OpenClaw is designed to be agentic. It operates while you sleep to actually move your life and your projects forward.
That is the core promise that just totally jumped out at me. The idea that this thing doesn't just automate a repetitive click. The source material says it actually thinks, decides, and acts.
It does.
It supposedly knows your style, your habits, even your risk tolerance. But I have to ask how.
Yeah.
I mean, how does a piece of software know my risk tolerance? Is it just guessing based on a questionnaire?
Well, based on the technical breakdown in the sources, it's about data ingestion and pattern recognition on a massive scale.
Okay.
It's not just looking at your settings page, it's looking at your entire history. Yeah, it sees that you usually hesitate on, say, purchases over $500, but you instantly approve software subscriptions under 50.
Oh, I see.
It builds a literal model of your decision-making architecture. So when it faces a decision, it doesn't ask what is the theoretically right answer. It asks, what would my user do?
That is both incredibly cool and slightly creepy.
Very creepy.
It's mimicking judgment, not just executing lines of code.
Precisely. It is highly personalized autonomy.
Okay, so let's get into the meat of this. The source material paints this incredibly vivid, almost utopian picture of what life looks like with OpenClaw. They call it the morning visualization.
Yes, that part was fascinating.
And I have to admit, reading through this scenario, part of me was incredibly jealous, and part of me was highly skeptical.
Well, walk us through it. What does the morning look like?
So the scenario is this. You wake up, you're groggy, you haven't even had your coffee yet, but OpenClaw has been online all night. The documentation claims you wake up and the AI has already finished 12 tasks. And we aren't talking about clearing spam from your inbox.
No.
We're talking about real work. It says 3 business reports are ready for review. 2 client leads have been pre-screened.
Which is huge.
Yeah. YouTube videos uploaded, Amazon liquidation data analyzed, all before your alarm even goes off. Now, pause here for a second.
Sure.
Business reports ready. What does that actually mean in this context? Is it just generating a blank template for you to fill out?
This is where it gets really interesting. Based on the capabilities described, it's not a template.
Okay.
The agent has likely pulled the raw data, maybe sales figures, from Q3, compared them to the previous year, identified the trends you usually care about, and written the executive summary in your exact tone of voice.
Wait, in my tone of voice?
Yes. If you tend to be very formal, the report is formal.
Yeah.
If you use a lot of bullet points and short sentences, it uses bullet points.
That is insane.
The idea is that you aren't writing the report anymore. You are simply reviewing the report.
That is a fundamental shift in how we work. Usually I wake up and I'm just trying to find my socks.
Right.
This thing is practically running a Fortune 500 company from my laptop while I snore.
It completely connects to the bigger theme. The sources talk about the shift from labor to architecture.
Labor to architecture.
Yes. In this scenario, you are no longer the laborer in your own life. You aren't being paid for the hours you spend typing up that report. You are the architect.
You design the system.
Exactly. You design the workflow that allowed the agent to write the report.
From laborer to architect, that's a really heavy concept. But practically speaking, in that morning scenario, if the AI has done the reports, the leads, and all the data analysis, what do I actually do with my day?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? According to the breakdown, your new role becomes to decide, choose, and approve.
Decide, choose, approve.
Yeah. You aren't hunting for the liquidation deal on Amazon? The agent presents you with 3 options that fit your historical criteria, and you just say, buy number 2.
So I'm just the bottleneck.
Exactly. You become the bottleneck of decision, not the bottleneck of execution.
So I basically become the manager of my own digital clone. I'm just walking around, giving a thumbs up or thumbs down like Caesar in the Colosseum.
In a way, yes. And it's not just your professional work either. The material goes really deep into the domestic side of things.
Oh, the domestic stuff, yes.
Which I think is where a lot of people will actually feel this first.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, nobody likes booking dentist appointments.
Oh, absolutely not. The domestic examples they gave were wild. Booking appointments, okay, that's somewhat standard now. But optimizing shopping across platforms.
That's next level.
Yeah, that implies it's checking prices on Amazon, Walmart, maybe eBay, factoring in shipping costs and delivery times, and just making the buy for you.
It's the friction removal that really stands out to me.
Right.
Think about how much mental energy you burn every week just remembering to book a checkup or researching which vacuum cleaner is actually good.
So much time.
OpenClaw handles children's classes, balancing the household budgets, even filing your taxes.
The taxes part, honestly, if you can navigate the tax code better than I can, they can just take my money right now.
Seriously.
But there was one specific detail in the personal section that absolutely stopped me in my tracks. I need to know your take on this. Did you catch the part about reading?
I did. Reading new books on your behalf.
Yes. What does that even mean? I read War and Peace. Well, my agent read it. Does that count? Can I say I've read it at a dinner party?
This brings up a fascinating philosophical debate about the nature of knowledge itself. Think about it. Why do you read a business book?
Usually to learn something, to get a new strategy or framework.
Right, you read it to extract utility. You want information that you can apply to your life or business.
True.
Now, if your agent reads a new 300-page strategy book in 4 seconds, extracts the 3 key frameworks that apply specifically to your business, and discards all the filler stories, have you read the book?
No, I haven't. I haven't enjoyed the prose. I haven't struggled with the complex ideas.
True. But have you gained the utility of the book? Yes.
Wow.
Possibly even more efficiently than if you had slogged through it yourself. It separates the consumption of information from the application of it.
That is just mind-bending. It's like downloading skills in the Matrix, but with an extra step where I have to skim a summary.
Right.
But I feel like something is deeply lost there. If I don't read the whole thing, I don't get the nuance. I just get the bullet points.
And that is a huge risk.
Yeah.
We might end up with a society that knows the headline of everything but the depth of absolutely nothing.
Yeah, surface-level knowledge.
But looking at the other capabilities they listed, like analyzing your kid's performance, it seems the goal is to aggregate the data of your life so you can make high-level decisions without getting bogged down in the minutia.
Okay, analyzing kids' performance, that sounds terrible. It sounds like I'm doing a quarterly performance review on my toddler. You know? Sorry, Timmy, your walking metrics are down 15% this quarter. No dessert.
It does sound incredibly cold when you put it like that. But imagine it tracks their grades across different platforms, their sports stats, maybe even unstructured feedback from teachers and emails, and gives you a weekly digest.
Oh.
So you know exactly where they're struggling and where they need your help.
Mm-hmm.
It's about leveraging data to be a better, more attentive parent.
Yeah.
At least that's the pitch.
It's a compelling pitch, I'll give them that. But let's pivot back to the workplace.
Let's do it.
Because if this thing can handle my taxes and my reading list, it can definitely handle my job. The source says the workplace is about to change dramatically. And they aren't talking about, robotic arms on a factory line.
No, they're coming straight for the white-collar roles. Accounting, administrative assistance, basic data analysis. These are the roles directly in the crosshairs of this technology.
Yeah.
The material uses a very specific phrase that I think captures it perfectly. The shift from doing 10 repetitive tasks to overseeing 10 OpenClaw agents.
I noticed that. It frames it as a promotion, almost. You aren't losing your job, you're getting a whole team.
It is a massive force multiplier. Think about an accountant today. They spend hours upon hours reconciling spreadsheets, matching cell A on this sheet to cell B on that sheet.
Very tedious work.
Extremely. In this OpenClaw future, that same accountant might have 10 agents running parallel reconciliations for 50 different clients simultaneously.
Oh.
The human is just there to spot the anomalies. The agent flags something and says, "Why is this number red?" And the human looks and says, "Oh, that looks like fraud." Let's investigate.
So we aren't necessarily losing the job, but the job itself is becoming totally unrecognizable. It's way less doing and way more monitoring.
For some professions, yes. For others, it's an absolute explosion of capability. Look at the content creation examples provided in the notes. This is where the zero manpower claim comes in.
Yeah, this part was wild to me. They listed things like generating local high school news videos, creating deep dive real estate reports, and doing all of it without human hands ever touching the actual work.
Let's actually drill down into that local high school news video example,
Wow.
because that sounds like a small niche thing, but the implication behind it is huge. To do that manually today, what do you need?
Well, you need a scriptwriter. You need a voiceover artist.
Right.
You definitely need a video editor to cut the clips together, maybe a producer to actually call the schools and find the scores. It's a team of at least 4 or 5 people working full-time.
Exactly. It's a whole production. Now, OpenClaw comes in. It automatically scrapes the school district websites and local social media for scores and announcements.
Okay.
It writes the script in the style of an upbeat sportscaster. It generates a perfectly natural synthetic voice.
Yeah.
It compiles the video assets, generates the thumbnails, and uploads the final cut to YouTube.
Oh, automatic.
Entirely autonomously. One person, the architect we talk about, can now run a local news network for an entire district from their kitchen table.
And the source specifically mentioned one person could manage 5 content lines. That's like being 5 different media companies at once.
Exactly. You could be running a real estate analysis channel, a local high school sports news channel, and a liquidation arbitrage business on Amazon, all at the exact same time.
That's just staggering.
Because the bottleneck isn't time anymore. It's not, do I have enough hours in the day to edit this video?
Right. Time is no longer the constraint.
The bottleneck is simply your ability to design the system that does the work.
Which really brings us to the macro view of this whole thing, the corporate structure. Because if I can do the work of 5 entire departments, what happens to the actual departments in real companies? The notes had a prediction about company size that was pretty stark.
Yes, the source predicted that instead of 100 employees, a standard business might soon run with 10 humans and 200 AI agents.
10 humans, 200 agents. That is a massive, massive consolidation. I mean, if I'm a CEO reading this, I'm salivating. But if I'm an entry-level employee, I'm definitely sweating right now.
It changes the fundamental economics of business entirely. Traditionally, execution was the most expensive part of running a company.
Oh, for sure.
You had to hire people, spend months training them, provide health benefits, manage their conflicts, deal with turnover.
Mm-mm.
In this new model, execution becomes near zero cost. The agents execute flawlessly, instantly, and tirelessly.
So if execution is virtually free, what is actually worth paying for? What is the human value?
Strategy,
Ugh.
vision, the ability to ask the right questions. The source puts it perfectly, I think. It says, the future won't reward hard work. It will reward the ability to architect complex AI workflows.
That's a really tough pill to swallow for a culture that is totally built on the Protestant work ethic, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
We're taught from kindergarten that grinding it out, putting in the late nights, doing the hard labor, that's where the value is. That's how you get ahead. But OpenClaw is basically saying, no, the value is entirely in the blueprint.
It completely flips the competitive edge.
Yeah.
If everyone in your industry has access to infinite execution, the winner is just the person who spots the market opportunity first and configures their agents to attack it. It's a total shift from asking, how do I do this, to asking what should be done in the first place.
But wait, let me play devil's advocate with you here for a second.
Go for it.
If the agents do all the execution, how does anyone actually learn their industry? I learned my job by doing the grunt work. I learned by making mistakes on the tedious stuff. If the grunt work is completely gone, how do we train the next generation of these architects?
That is a massive structural risk to society. You can't design a sturdy building if you don't practically know how bricks work.
Exactly.
If we automate all the entry-level tasks, we might be cutting off the very ladder that allows people to become experts in the first place. We could easily end up with a generation of people who know how to prompt an AI perfectly, but don't actually understand the underlying mechanics of their own industry.
Which leads us perfectly into the risks section of the source material, because honestly, for a technology that promises to create this ultimate utopia of efficiency, the list of risks they provided was extremely sobering.
To say the least, it's a minefield.
The first one that really stood out to me was cognitive stagnation, which honestly sounds like a fancy academic way of saying our brains are going to turn to complete mush.
Essentially, yes, that's what it means. Think about GPS navigation on your phone.
Okay.
I used to know how to navigate my entire city by heart. I knew the back roads, I knew which streets connected where. Now, if the blue line on my screen disappears, I am completely lost.
Oh, me too. 100%.
I have entirely outsourced my spatial awareness to a machine.
Right?
Now, apply that exact same phenomenon to critical thinking. If the AI is constantly doing the analyzing, the summarizing, and the deciding for you, do your own critical thinking skills begin to atrophy?
Wow.
If you never actually have to wrestle with a complex tax problem or a difficult business negotiation, do you permanently lose the ability to understand complex systems?
That genuinely scares me. Because if the system breaks, or if the AI just gets it wrong, which we know they do, I won't have the baseline skills to even notice the error. I'll just be nodding along blindly.
And then there is the very related risk of overdelegation. The material asks a great question. How much of yourself are you willing to delegate?
Yeah, where's the line?
It's a very slippery slope. First, it's booking the dentist. Easy. Nobody wants to do that. Then it's choosing the anniversary gift for your spouse. It's convenient, sure.
But a little weird.
Right. And then it's replying to your friend's text messages because you're just a little too busy that day.
Oh, wow. Yeah. If my twin is automatically replying to your twin's text messages, are we even friends anymore? Or are we just two servers pinging each other while the actual humans watch Netflix in silence?
That's the exact identity crisis the source alludes to.
Eh.
The big question of our lives moves from what can I do to what do I want my digital twin to represent?
Right.
You are basically curating a persona that interacts with the real world on your behalf. But is that persona actually you?
There was also a mention in the risks of agent conflict, which sounds like the title of a futuristic war movie, but I think the source was referring to something much more practical, right?
It's a very real economic possibility. Imagine your OpenClaw agent is programmed to get you the absolute lowest possible price on a flight to New York. Its only objective is to save you money.
Okay. Makes sense.
Now, the airline also has an AI agent. Its only objective is to maximize profit per seat. You now have two highly advanced autonomous systems battling it out in milliseconds, maybe thousands of times a second.
Just constantly negotiating.
Yes. One is trying to find a pricing loophole, the other is trying to aggressively close it. Society just becomes this incredibly complex web of interacting agents constantly trying to outmaneuver each other.
So the internet just becomes a bunch of bots yelling at each other at light speed?
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
And we're just the architects sitting on the sidelines trying to keep our personal bots winning. It creates a highly chaotic system where wildly unexpected things can happen.
Like what?
Well, flash crashes in the stock market are a primitive version of this. Algorithms reacting to algorithms and tanking the market in seconds. Now imagine that dynamic applied to buying concert tickets or negotiating a salary or bidding on a house.
That sounds absolutely exhausting to manage. And we haven't even touched on privacy yet. If OpenClaw knows everything, and I mean everything, my health data, my finances, my kids' grades, my specific risk tolerance, that is the ultimate honeypot for a hacker.
It is the ultimate centralization of risk. If your email gets hacked today, that's bad. It's a headache.
Yeah.
But if your digital twin gets hacked, they don't just have your data. They have your actual agency.
Oh, man.
They can act as you. They can transfer your money, send messages as you, sign legal contracts on your behalf, and the system assumes it's you doing it. That is a truly terrifying prospect. Platform monopoly is holding the keys to everyone's agency.
It's like identity theft on steroids. They don't just steal your credit card, they steal your entire ability to act in the world. Yet despite the sheer terror of that idea, the notes emphasize heavily that this isn't some distant possibility. It says OpenClaw is being tested in real workflows this month.
That's the real urgency here. We aren't discussing a hypothetical vision for 2030 or 2040. The technology to create a functioning digital twin that moves your personal and professional projects forward while you sleep is currently active. The architecture era isn't coming. It's already here.
So let's try to synthesize all of this for everyone listening. We are looking at a world where humans rapidly move from execution doing the daily busy work to architecture designing the higher level systems.
Correct. We are moving toward a world where time is no longer the fundamental scarcity.
Right.
You can literally have 24 hours of deep work done in 10 minutes by an agent. So the new scarcity becomes human judgment. The scarcity becomes good taste, critical thinking, and system strategy.
And the trade-off is that we have to be incredibly, almost painfully careful about what we define as us versus what we define as the work. We have to actively protect our ability to think even as we outsource the actual thinking process to a machine.
Well said. You have to remain the pilot, even if the plane can technically fly itself perfectly. Because if you forget how to fly, and the autopilot suddenly disengages, you're in real trouble.
I just keep going back to that morning routine we talked about, waking up to a totally cleared to-do list. It's incredibly seductive.
It is.
It's the ultimate dream we've been sold since the invention of the washing machine, right?
Yeah.
More leisure time. But it forces you to ask a really uncomfortable question. What am I waking up for? If the struggle is gone, if the daily work is already done before I open my eyes, what replaces it?
That's the deep philosophical core of this entire shift. If the agent does the living, what is actually left for the human? Are we just passive consumers of our own automated lives?
It's a lot to process, but we have to process it because ready or not, the testing has already started.
Indeed. The transition has already begun, whether we're ready for it or not.
I want to leave you all listening with a thought to mull over today, something that really stuck with me after diving into this material. We talked about the AI reading books for you, analyzing your kids' lives, and making complex decisions based on your personal risk tolerance.
Right.
If your digital twin can ingest all that information, process it exactly like you would, and make the exact decision you would make but do it faster, and without getting tired or emotional or hangry, at what point does the twin become more you than you are? At what point is the simulation actually better than the source?
That is a genuinely haunting thought to end on.
And if the agent does the living better than you do, maybe we should just let them... No, I'm kidding. That's way too dark. We'll leave it right now. Thank you for taking this deep dive with us today. This is a topic we'll definitely be watching very closely.
Absolutely.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.